Matt's in the back, Nick's in the front.
All right.
Because this is Nick's video. Go ahead. I'm not gonna talk at all.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
please.
sit here and eat my sushi, big
Good.
man. My
time for you to
veggie
be
rolls.
quiet. Chris speaks too much.
And then what you saying, how you miss me? Yeah, you miss me. And all the things that we did. We said we gonna travel from the islands to Madrid. We had a lot of plans, but they all disappeared. Why? Oh, because of some kids. But it's okay, cause I'm moving different. Don't be saying nothing when I'm posted with other bitches. Pour for my brothers.
This is my Nick coming out story time video, but we are in a different outfit and we are not,
With Alana.
and we're not with Alana, even though we told you guys we were going to be. But that is because my camera, with like the audio was cut off and Chris kept interrupting people and it was just an all-around shit video. And this is a super important video for me and like spreading awareness, and it's my story. So I wanted it to be
Better.
as good as possible. So it's like, I'd rather take the time to refilm an entire video that we already had filmed to show you guys, because I want this video to be as
Pristine.
as pristine and meaningful as I possibly can. And that's why I am also sitting in the front and Matt is sitting in the back, which is
It ain't my
also
story
another
to tell,
unusual thing.
brother.
Because,
Facts,
as Matt said, it's not his story, it's mine. So this video kind of relates to me more. So that's why I'm taking Matt's seat,
My
and I
brother's
feel
story.
really bizarre.
Let's go.
Anyways, yeah, as we said, Nick coming out story time, so I'm just gonna literally dive in. We'll start
Head first.
We'll start with the story time.
Get into
My
it.
coming out story time, before even coming out, the first process is just coming out to yourself. And by that, it's more of like a realization you make in your head, like when you are fully understanding that you are what you are.
The same
which
way you
is-
realize you're straight.
Yes, exactly.
For example, in the last video I said, I was having dreams of women when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
Not to be weird. I just knew I liked girls from the second I was...
Yeah. So basically, I knew I had like an idea that I liked guys when I was in like 8th grade, but it wasn't like 100% a certain fact in my head, where it wasn't something I like fully had realized. So I think by the time I was in 8th grade, I had like an idea, but I wasn't 100% sure. So freshman year, there were these two kids who are important to the story that we know in real life, so I'm not going to use their real names. We're going to use code names, Teresa and Rob, like we did yesterday. They're very important to the story in the aspect that I liked Rob when we were in freshman year, but I thought that I liked Teresa. So it was like really a confusing time for me, because I was talking about Teresa like I did like her, but in reality it was like I liked her boyfriend. So that's why it wasn't like, oh, I like Rob. Like, I wasn't saying that. I was saying I liked Teresa, but I meant I liked Rob. Like, in the back of my head, I knew I was talking about him, but like I wasn't 100% sure. So basically, me and my friend Alana, who you all know,
Got a stain.
me and my friend Alana, who you all know, used to like go out with them, and they are two of our closest friends at the time. So we would like go out, and like it would be a really difficult situation for me because I was confused, and I also thought that I liked them, and I had finally come to terms about it later on. So when I realized it, me and Alana were getting really close. So I was like, you know what? I should tell Alana that I like Rob, and I realized I like Rob. But before I even did that, I was like, Alana doesn't even know that I'm gay, so I can't tell her that I like Rob because she doesn't even know that I like guys in general.
You're missing a whole step. He's saying you were missing a whole step.
Oh, I thought you were telling me like
Yeah.
I'm missing part of the story. I'm like, no, I'm not. Anyways, I was so confused. Anyways, one day, I don't know what came over me, it was like 2019, and I was like, you know what, you need to call Lana and tell her that you're gay and you realize it. Because right now, at this point, it was just like an idea in my head. Like, I was not sure that I was gay, and then I finally had finalized it. Like, freshman year, I knew I was a gay male, and I could, like, vocalize about this. So I called Alana because she was the, like, #1 person I trust, and I came out to her on the phone. I was basically just like, Alana, I'm gay, and that was it. I immediately started crying. She was crying. She was like, it's okay, I'm here for you. She's just a very supportive friend, and I appreciate Alana for that. To this day, Alana's still like my #1 supporter, and Alana like loves all three of us so much. Alana's just an amazing friend, so I appreciate Alana so much. And I told her first, and then from telling Alana, I knew, I was like, keeping a secret like that is extremely difficult, and it's like I want to give someone, like, I need to tell more people, first of all, and I also want Alana to be able to talk about this with someone. Like, she needs to be able to vocalize the situation, so that way she doesn't go off and, like, tell other people. I knew she would never do that, but it's like, keeping a secret with someone else is easier than keeping a secret alone, because then you're, like, you know, doing it together, right? So, my friend Taylor, I was extremely, extremely close with, So I felt
And you,
extremely
Taylor, and
comfortable with
Alana
Taylor.
were-
And me, Taylor, and Alana were like best friends. And I'm still friends with Taylor to this day. But me, Alana, and Taylor were best friends. And so I was like, you know what? Alana kind of persuaded me too. She's like, you should tell Taylor, like, you want to start telling more people. And Taylor's an extremely trustworthy person. And I agreed with her, and I knew that it was a good idea. So we went to an ice cream place near our house, and I told Taylor, with the help of Alana, and I gave my trust to another person, and I started like finding a rhythm about it, and I was like, you know what, I actually enjoy doing like this is a really good constructive thing for me. And I also gave someone, Alana, to talk to. Like, they both knew they could have like an existing conversation like about it, and like they wouldn't be telling other people because they already had someone in common.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay, beautiful. So then after that, those are like the two most significant people in my life at this point, other than my friend Chloe. But my friend Chloe also is like, we've been friends with Chloe since kindergarten. So telling Chloe about this was the same thing as like telling Matt and Chris. And I wasn't ready for that step yet. Because Chloe is basically like our sister. Like,
Same with Matt Nicholas.
and same with our friend Matt N. We have known him since we were in kindergarten. Well, not Nate. He's just as close to us, but it's like he has not been our friend that long.
Yeah,
so it's like
Nathan-
Nate is still our closest friend, but he's not equate to like Chloe and Matt N to
Like,
the point
Chloe
where
and
it's
Matt
like,
N were
Chloe
our
and Matt
best
N,
friends
I
since
group with
kindergarten.
Matt and Chris because they've known me my entire life.
Yeah.
Like, Nathan is my best friend, and he's just as equal of my best friend as them, but he hasn't known me since I was a little kid. So it's like,
Yeah.
Matt, Chris, Chloe, and Matt N were like all on the same spectrum of like my closest friends. Like, I've known them my entire life. So telling Matt N and Chloe, I was like, I wanted to tell them because they were significant in my life and I really wanted them to know, but it wasn't something I was prepared for because that was equal to me as like coming out to Matt and Chris, and I wasn't ready for that step yet. So after I told Taylor and Alana, I was comfortable telling more people, and one of my really good friends now, Michaela, we weren't as close when I told her. Like, it was kind of like me actually coming out to Michaela was like a signifier in our friendship. Like, she knew that I trusted her 100%, and that is honestly what sparked our friendship and made it like the best
more
friendship that I
than
have.
it
Like,
is.
me and Michaela are best friends. Like, after I told Michaela, we were hanging out like every week or so, and then it started, like, it grew from that where me and her were hanging out every single day after school, and it was like, it really sparked mine and Michaela's friendship off to a good start. So it's like, the reason I didn't refer to Michaela as like, oh, my best friend, because she wasn't at the time, but when I told her that, that's what made her my best friend up until now. Like, me and Michaela are best friends, and it was starting from that moment. So after I had told them three, I was like, it's so comfortable to the point where it's like, I was like going up to whoever. So it's like people I was just meeting, like, especially at the high school. Like, by my sophomore year, Jaden and Allie, these two girls came to our school, and we introduced ourselves to them, and we became really close. I told them, and then I met, like, other freshmen, like, every single year. It was just more people, and I was, like, people who I wasn't even that close with, I just felt comfortable telling, because it's, like, they don't know me well enough to the point where it's, like, it doesn't even matter to them. So it was just, like,
It's like what I
this
said yesterday.
snowball
It's like if
effect,
you're
like-
walking by a stranger and you're like, oh, I'm gay, and then they just kept walking. It's like that.
Yeah, like, it
Except
doesn't-
obviously they're not equal to strangers.
Like, they're probably
yeah.
proud of you, but they're just like, oh, good for that stranger, but it doesn't, like, directly impact them because
Exactly.
they don't know you like that. So it's
Exactly.
like, for meeting new people and making new friends, it was something I was so comfortable doing because it was like, people who didn't know me well enough where, like, their judgment, although it was appreciated if it was positive, if it was ever negative, it wouldn't impact me to, like, slow me down. So that was kind of my understanding. Like, I was coming out to people, like, weeks after knowing them. So, like, I was just making a bunch of friends and just becoming their friend and, like, telling them immediately. So it got to the point where I told my significant true friends, and then a bunch of people who I'm, like, friends with still, but, like, aren't, like, my closest people in my life, and I had told about, like, 30 people, like, just, like, this and that, like, immediately. And then it started, like, to get to the point where it's like I'm telling so many people, and it's like, yeah, this is productive and this is fun and this is good for me, but it's like, is this really getting you in the direction like you're ready to, like, vocalize this fully?
Like, you're still hiding it
Like,
from your brothers.
yeah, like, I'm still not telling the most important people, so is this really changing anything?
Yeah.
So I realized, like, I need to start telling people who are, like, very significant to me, or, like, this is just going to be headed in the same direction forever. So I was like, you know what, I don't have to necessarily tell Matt and Chris right away, but I should tell people who are extremely close to me. And the last 3 people who I felt comfortable telling that were extremely close to me were Matt and
Chloe.
Chloe and Nathan. And so Nathan, Matt, and Chris are always together. Like, yes, we are equally friends with Chloe and Matt N, but Nathan and Matt and Chris, I equate as, like, one being. Like, their knowledge is all the same. Like, everything they do is the same. Like, they share one head. So it's like, I couldn't go off and tell Nathan alone because Nathan is part of them. Where it's like Chloe and Matt N, yes, they've been our closest friends and they're on the same level, but they don't share a mind with these two. So I knew I could go to them and, like, tell them. So Chloe... she had an idea too. Like, it was like an existing fact that I was
Everyone had
gay
an
at this
idea
point.
you
Like,
were
everyone
gay,
had
though.
an idea. I'm a gay person. Like, it's like average gay traits. Not saying like, oh, straight men have feminine attributes. Yeah, obviously. But it's just like, at that point you could tell I was gay by like a glance, which is a good thing. I'm not saying this is a negative thing. Like, I'm okay with that. But Chloe had an idea, and like I had given her ideas about it. Like, she knew. So basically, me coming out to Chloe was honestly one of the easiest things I had ever done, because it wasn't like coming out to Chloe like, oh, this big thing. It was like confirming it to Chloe. Like, it was confirming to both of us, like, oh, I'm gay. She was like, awesome, hugged me, and we went back in her room and watched a movie. Like, we literally went in the hall while we were all watching a movie.
Me and Matt were there?
I think so. You two and Taylor, maybe. And then so we went in the hall. I told Chloe, she was like, awesome, great. And then we went back and went about our day, and nothing has ever changed. And then Matt N, it was a little bit of like a different story, where it was like, we don't hang out as often. So like, when I went to tell him, I was like, I don't know when the fuck I'm gonna do this. But like, we were on our way to English class, and I just like pulled him outside, and he was like one of the most honestly, for him, it was like the first male I was telling too.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
the first
straight
dude.
men is like the hardest people to talk about like being gay with, because it's like they can be some of the most judgmental people on this planet. So it's like everyone I told so far is like a teen girl. So it's like it was easier.
Yeah,
like, there's straight men that are just as like nice with gay guys, but it's just like harder to find because of like toxic masculinity and all sorts of things we don't necessarily.
And like some straight men are like scared of being friends with a gay guy because they think like other straight men are gonna think like whatever of it.
Yeah. So I don't know, but basically, Matt was the first straight man I was going to tell, and I was like, I felt very comfortable with him, and I knew that he wouldn't make a big deal out of it, and that it was like we were chilling. So I basically just pulled him on the way to English class outside, and I was just like, I came out I was just like, oh, Matt, I'm gay. He was like, that's fine, doesn't change anything. And he was one of the most supportive people too, where he was like, are you sure? He's like, you can talk to me about it. Like, it was just like very nice to have someone who was like extremely understanding and willing to be able to talk about it. So that was,
I love Matt.
and especially Matt's reaction was such a good reaction from like a straight guy that it gave me more optimism to tell other straight guys, because I was like, his reaction was better than some of the girls. Okay, yeah, so I had checked 3 boxes where it was like the last 3 people I had to tell was Matt. Josh is gonna kill you.
Yeah, Josh.
I'm gonna text Josh and tell him you're drinking an energy
Josh
drink right now.
doesn't allow Matt to have energy drinks because
No, I told Josh, me and Josh have an agreement that if he sees me with an energy drink, he can tackle me into the dirt.
because Matt's
Because
a lunatic.
Matt's a psychopath when he has energy drinks. I can handle it, Chris can handle it. Matt is scary.
Shut up,
Anyways, the last checked boxes I had to do was like my parents, Matt and Chris,
Nathan and Justin.
Matt, Chris, and Nathan, and then the world and my older brother. So it was like, me and my older brother, our relationship also from this like grew a lot. Like, me and him were like, I always was like angry at Matt and Chris and Justin just because like I excluded myself as a child, and it was nothing they ever did. But when I was also realizing that I was gay, I was also like going through a lot. So it was like a lot of things where I like made myself the victim in a bunch of situations I probably wasn't. And it's like Matt, Chris, and Justin could like do anything, or like even Matt, Chris, and Nathan, and it's just like seeing them get along as like the boys, and like knowing deep down I probably like didn't feel as included in that.
Yeah, like
it
growing
made
up,
me have like this like anger toward them that like wasn't their fault. It was just like jealousy of not feeling like I fully fit in, and it wasn't their fault at all. It was just something in my head. So it's like Nathan, my older brother, and Matt and Chris were the hardest people I had to tell, but my older brother had moved out at that point, where I was like, I didn't feel, it's horrible to say now, but it's like I didn't feel obligated to tell him. Where it's like now, since I have posted it and he knows, he's also one of the most supportive people in my life, and he gets along with me, and he knows that it is 100% okay. And me and him, our relationship as siblings has grown 100% since that moment. And I can say the same thing about Matt
because
and
like
Chris.
growing up,
but it was like
Nick's best friends were like the girls, like Chloe, Michaela, Alana. Like all like Nick and like Sophia Sim growing up, like Nick had a lot of friends that he was like best friends with that were like the girls, and then he was still cool with me and Matt, but me and Matt were always like the boys. So it was like me, Matt, Madden, Jared. We were always like this.
But I always like excluded myself from those situations anyway.
Yeah,
so
he did it
like
on purpose, but it wasn't like either of our faults. We just grew up like differently. Me and not even differently. Like we were all cool. We all loved each other. But it was just, we weren't as close to Nick. And Nick used to see me and Matt in, like, the same group with the guys. And he used to think we were excluding him on purpose. When in reality, we were just with our friends.
Yeah, and it was that way up until high school, too. So it's, like, the only reason I told Matt and Chris and not my older brother is because we had still lived together. Like, if my older brother moved out, so it was hard for me to talk to him anyway. Because he just wasn't at the house as often. Where it's, like, them two, I spent every day with them. So it's, like, obviously I would have to tell them before posting something on the internet. Because they'd find out regardless. And it was kind of the same thing with my parents too, where it's like I spend every single moment of my life with Matt and Chris to the point where it's like they find out when I find out. So it's like I felt like I had to tell them, where it's like my parents, it's like I'll get it over with once Matt and Chris know. So like they weren't as important on my list, and neither was my older brother. Yeah, now we get it, we fixed our problems, but you know, it wasn't as big of an issue. So the next step was telling Matt and Chris. And so another thing is, since I like guys, my taste in girls is different than Matt and Chris's.
Yeah,
Valid.
very fair.
Very fair, because it's like I'm not sexually attracted
Nick used
to
to be like,
girls,
oh, this girl's so pretty, and I'd be like,
not
yeah, she's
my
nice.
thing. But it's just like I used to just give bad advice to Matt and Chris, especially because I'd never been in a relationship and this and that. So it was just like my advice was like the most meaningless thing on this earth when it came to relapships and stuff.
When it came to girls,
yeah.
Yo, I thought you were just saying that in general. I was like, bro,
no, my mindfulness about everything else is pristine and important. But about girls, it's like not as valid.
Okay.
I'm so scared my nipples gonna.
Yo, can you hurry up? Like this video's gonna be an hour long.
So this is leading up to Nick telling me and Chris.
Go get there.
We were at a volleyball game at our school one day, and there was this girl that went to our school that very openly liked me out of us three.
Had a big crush.
Don't know why.
Anyway, she liked me, so Nick was Nick was her friend at the time. They were good pals, I'd say. And Nick was like being her little wingman, her like hype guy.
Matt, you telling stories.
He was hyping her up.
Come on.
So I was basically like, oh, she liked Matt. So I was like, oh, he's my brother. I'll put you on. You know
and Nick was like, yo, Matt, date this girl. She's really nice. She likes you. Date this girl. And Matt goes, you like her so much. Why don't you date her? And Nick. Oh! So that's what happened. Matt was on the phone with Nathan. We were all in the room. And that conversation happened, and Matt goes, you like her so much, why don't you date her? And Nick started going on this rampage. He got angry, and he was like, da-da-da, this, that, blah, 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 blah. And something, this, that, fucking, I don't even know what you said. And you're like, and I don't want you guys to think of me different if I was like a gay kid at our school, because I am. Mic drop. And that's what he said. And me and Matt were just like, jaw dropped. I don't even know why I was shocked, because I knew Nick was gay from the second I knew what gay was. Like, growing up, I just knew Nick was a gay person. I could tell. So, like, just him being my brother, I knew.
Anyways.
I was shocked. I was like, okay, cool. I was supportive. I literally, it made me not think, I never thought different from that day, ever. I literally just
lived honest to God, that day, and telling Matt and Chris gave me more confidence, than to the point where I had, like, posted it. And me coming out showed me, like, it directed me on the right path from there. Like, no one was negative enough that I wasn't their friend anymore, except like a couple people. But it's just like, it opened my eyes a lot, and it made me more of a confident person, and it strengthened all the relationships that I had already had.
I agree.
So basically, to like finalize things and say a couple more things, that was me coming out to everyone individually and like my own journey. But coming out to everyone was during Corona had started, and I wasn't at school, and like school was an extremely toxic environment for me, and I didn't like it. So being out of school made me more confident. I started like working on myself. And so we went to the Cape with Alana during like the lockdown, because we were like, we've all been quarantined for like enough time to be able to see each other, but we still need to quarantine because of the lockdown. So we decided to take Alana with us to the Cape to quarantine together, just because it was like a different environment. So the three of us, my mom and Alana, all went to the Cape, and I told them all, I was like, alright, I think I'm gonna post this week. I don't know when. And then one day while they were sleeping, I woke up first, and I was the only one awake, and I was like, it just, the moment felt right. And I had like a draft posted on my Instagram, at Nick Sturniolo Photography on Instagram, underscores between all the words. It's still there, the post of me with like the mirror and like my camera. I posted photos of myself. It was like the first photos I had posted of myself on the entire internet, and basically just told everyone that I was gay, and then that was that. People were story sharing it, and then that was when YOLO was a thing, and I posted a YOLO so that like people could share their opinions, whatever. And a bunch of people stood up and was just like, oh, congrats, proud of you, whatever. And that probably, like, at the time was, like, my most liked and commented on photo.
And
like,
I think it did, like, comments.
yeah, it had, like, 200 comments or something with, like, a bunch of people. People were texting me. And that leads me to, like, everyone who was being supportive. And then that just changed it from there. Like, I was just, like, another gay kid, but it was just, like, it was known, and it was just like weight lifted off of my shoulders, and I was more confident being able to do more things in my life. And then it's like also an eye-opener, like all this, I want to like shout outs to people is like all my friends that are still my friends were extremely supportive, and I appreciate them all very much. Another thing is like all the straight men that I'm friends with right now
that aren't scared to be in a
that aren't scared to
friendship.
like do like hang out with me and like be able to do stuff, and is like the most meaningful thing to me, because it's more difficult as a straight man to be able to accept things like that just because of like society's pressures and stuff. So it's like being able to have like such a strong knit group of straight male friends as a gay male is like something I am super thankful for. So it's like my friend Josh, Aiden, Jake, Matt, Nathan,
Nikki,
Evan, like all the straight
Nikki,
men that I'm
Elmer.
friends with. Yeah, it's like there's so many guys that I'm friends with right now. Aiden, Matt White is just like an insane amount of guys that I'm friends with now that there's no different, and they treat me the same way they treat all their other guy friends. So it's like just a great place that I'm
They're
in.
rock stars for
And
sure.
those are the boys.
Dude, fucking Josh is like just like easily one of the nicest people I've ever met. I could say so many nice things about Josh until the day I die, but it's like
Josh is like
all of them, like literally.
they're all so
I don't know.
nice.
Josh is just more vocal to me, and Josh, I can say more about Josh because I just like.
I could hand knit 3 compliments for each one of the guys.
Yeah, no, same. Like I'm just so thankful for all of them, and I'm thankful for like the fact that they all realize we're friends, and it's like since I'm a gay male, I'm not like immediately clinging on them as like a relationship.
they
Like
don't
they
only-
accept the fact that I can be friends with men,
And they
not,
also
like,
support
like them.
they support Nick, they support me and Chris, and they support all 3 of us in our YouTube career, everything that we do for a living, and they're just like some great
They're just the
friends.
nicest people
Oh,
ever.
and to wrap this up, we're gonna say thank you to all of our friends and everyone we just mentioned. The people we didn't mention, you know that we're still thinking about you. We're just like slipped our
This is
mind.
off the top, you know.
One last thing to literally finalize this completely. All gay people of any kind, whatever, non-binary,
Lesbian,
anything, transgender, whatever you
bisexual.
are 100% valid, and you can hit our DMs. You can
come out to
literally-
me. Someone come out to me.
Someone text Chris if you're feeling inspired to come out on Instagram or something. Tag us in your posts. We will 100% see it if you tag us in a coming out post.
And if you don't want to tell anyone at all, but you feel you want to tell like one person that like doesn't even know you in person, you can let one of us 3 know. We'll
DM us.
You know the
DM us.
Instagrams, and if you don't wanna pick one of us, if it's too
Group
hard
account,
to pick one
DM
of us,
our group account. Literally, we are open to listen to any of you. Comment on our post if you're just feeling brave and you're feeling ready to take that next step. DM us. And if you're not, that's perfectly fine. You're still working on yourself. My advice to you is like write things down, keep it in like a private spot where you can have it, and just make sure that like you are processing your thoughts. Don't like try and hide them, and just make sure that you are 100% being your authentic self, because no one does it better.
Amen. And I'd like to share that Nick coming out and YouTube, our friends online, like
you guys are some fucking cool
you guys
people.
like you guys changed our life, because me, Matt, and Nick are as tight as possible and are as close as possible, and we're in it for the ride, baby.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, and go follow our group Instagram for updates on when we're gonna post next. Keep your eyes peeled because we have a creator video coming out Wednesday.
With Rachel Brockman.
Not with Rachel Brockman.
Not with Rachel.
Wait, maybe with Rachel Brockman. Yes, with Rachel Brockman.
Yes, with Rachel Brockman.
At 5:30, and then after that we have another video being posted Friday, which I believe is going to be a which triplet is most likely to, but if I'm wrong, just completely ignore that I just said that. And we will be seeing you next Wednesday at 5:30, and then Friday at 5:30 after that. And just in case you don't want to miss any of those videos, you can go and hit the notification bell at the bottom. You can comment your favorite part of this video, and if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to our channel and you made it to this point, I feel like that's something you should possibly consider. And if you
a lot of you guys aren't subscribed, you just
and if
view
you
the
want
video.
more updates about our YouTube channel and when we're going to post and you're just not sure where to find them, the Sturniolo.Triplets account on Instagram is where you can find all of your information about all of us.
And one last thing that I want to say. I don't want any of you in the comments saying, I want to hear more Chris in this video. I want to hear more Matt. This was Nick's fucking story.
Oh, God.
I said as much as I wanted to. I don't need to say more. It was Nick's job to say what he wanted
Yes,
to.
sir. There
Alright.
you go, Matt. But yeah, that's it. That's the video.
Sorry that you had to watch me eat these the whole time. They're really fucking good though.
Kissing, and then what you saying, how you miss me? Yeah, you miss me, and all the things that we did. We said we were gonna travel from the islands to Madrid. We had a lot of plans, but they all disappeared.